episode 2. We're on page 19. We just learned about Hiccup. He is the leader of the Hairy Hooligans, and he's supposed to lead his group into an initiation so that they can all be part of the tribe. Now, as it happens, Hiccup is probably the most puny, and nobody really thinks he's a good leader. Things to note that as I read, I do stumble over words on occasion, and it's just something that I've always done. So please forgive me if I happen to do that while we're reading this story. Okay, so we're right here. Hiccup swallowed hard. He happened to know considerably more about dragons than anybody else there. Ever since he was a small boy, he'd been fascinated by the creatures. He'd spent hours after long hours dragon watching in secret. Now, dragon spotters were thought to be geeks and nerds, hence the need for secrecy. And what Hiccup had learned about dragons told him that walking into a cave with 3,000 dragons in it was an act of madness. No one else seemed too concerned, however. In a few minutes, I want you. Oh, let me get into my right voice. In a few minutes, I want you to take one of these baskets and start climbing the cliffs, commanded Gobber. Once you are at the cave entrance, you are on your own. I am too large to squeeze my way into the tunnels that lead to the dragon nursery. You will enter the cave quietly. And that means you too, Warty Hog. Unless you want to become the first spring meal for 3,000 hungry dragons. Ha 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 ha. Gobber laughed heartily at his little joke, then continued. Dragons this size are normally fairly harmless to man, but in these numbers they will set upon you like piranhas. There'd be nothing left, even a fatso like you, Warty Hog. Just a pile of bones. Dragon basket. Dragon goes in here. And your helmet. Ha 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 ha. So you will walk quietly through the cave, and each boy will steal one sleeping dragon. Lift the dragon gently from the rock and place it in your basket. Any questions so far? Nobody had questions. In the unlikely event that you do wake the dragons, and you would have to be idiotically stupid to do so, run like thunder for the entrance to the cave. Dragons do not like cold weather, and the snow will probably stop them in their tracks. Probably, thought Hiccup. Oh, well, that's reassuring. I suggest that you spend a little time choosing your dragon. It is important to get one the correct size. This will be the dragon that hunts fish for you and pulls down deer for you. You will catch the dragon that will carry you into battle later on, when you are much older and a warrior of the tribe. But nonetheless, you want an impressive animal. So a rough guide would be choose the biggest creature that will fit in your basket. Don't linger far too long in there. Linger, thought Hiccup, in a cave full of 3,000 sleeping dragons? I need not tell you, Gobber continued cheerfully, that if you return to this spot without a dragon, it is hardly worth coming back at all. Anybody who fails this task will be put into immediate exile. The Hairy Hooligan tribe has no use for failures. Only the strong can be long. Happily, Hiccup looked round at the distant horizon. Nothing but snow and sea as far as the eye could see. Exile didn't look too promising either. Right, said Gobber briskly. Each boy, take a basket to put the dragon in, and we'll get going. The boys rushed to get their baskets, chattering happily and excitedly. I'm going to get one of those monstrous nightmares, one with the extra extendable claws. They're really scary, boasted Snotlout. Oh, shut up, Snotlout. You can't, said Speedy Fist. Only Hiccup can have a monstrous nightmare. You have to be the son of the chief. Hiccup's father was Stoic the Vast, the fearsome chief of the Hairy Hooligan tribe. Hiccup, sneered Snotlout. If he's as useless at this as he is at Bashy Ball, we'll be lucky if he even gets one of the basic browns. The basic brown was the most common type of dragon and serviceable beast, but without much glamour. Shut up and get in line, you miserable tadpoles! Yelled Gobber the Belch. The boys scrambled into their places, baskets on their heads, and stood to attention. Gobber walked along the line, lighting the torch that each boy held in front of him from the great flare in his hand. In half an hour's time, you will be a Viking warrior with your faithful serpent at your side, or breakfasting with your wooden in Valhalla with dragon teeth in your bottom, screamed Gobber with horrible enthusiasm. Let's go back and look at Viking dragons and their eggs. The common or garden and the basic brown. The common or garden and the basic brown are so similar that they can't be dealt with together. They are the most familiar breeds, the ones we instantly think of when we say dragons. They are poor hunters, but they are easy to train. These dragons are the best kind of family pet, although, as with a lion or a tiger, they should never be left unsupervised with very young children. So statistics. Colors green and yellow, or shades of brown. Armed with basic teeth and claws. Fear factor 3. Attack 3. Speed 4. Size 4. Disobedience 1. The common or garden, or basic brown. Okay, let's continue. Death or glory! Yelled Gobber. Death or glory! Yelled 8 boys back at him fanatically. Death, thought Hiccup and Fishleg sadly. Gobber paused dramatically with the horn to his lips. I think this could possibly be the worst moment of my life so far, thought Hiccup to himself as he waited for the blast of the horn. And if they shout much louder, we're going to wake up the dragons before we even start. Gobber blew the horn. And there they are. Chapter 2. This is where we're going to come back for the next one.